Well, we're running a little bit late here tonight, but we're good to go. There's an accident up on 72nd Blondo that delayed some people from getting here, but we're all good. So, welcome to another week of Surviving Life's Tribulations. Love this weather, loving this weather, even though I'm still sweating. So, how you doing, my partner in crime here?
I am doing well.
I guess crime, we're not crime people.
Oh, you don't know. I might be in crime.
Hey, we all have a different side to us, don't we?
Yep.
Yep. A dark side, Jekyll and Hyde. So how's things going? How's your week going?
So far?
So far?
Last week was a really good week.
It has been a Monday. I'm telling you, starting from the time I got up, people almost driving me off the road this morning. I got to work, okay. It's like, whoo, when's Tuesday? When's that 3-day weekend coming up? Next weekend, right? I'm ready, so ready.
Can't wait.
So we will not be on that night since it is a holiday. We're not going to make William come out that night. So anyway, we have a special guest and we're running short of time, so we'll get right to it. I will let my co-host introduce her tonight since he brought her on tonight. So we're good?
Right. Say something else in there.
Hello?
Say something else.
Hello? Testing?
I don't know what happened.
Sure, people don't want to listen.
We might have to share this one. I don't know. It was working. It just cut out.
Nope, not
Yep.
working.
Wait. When you hit it the last time, Yep.
Testing? No, we're good.
Nope.
Testing?
Maybe you need to
Hold it.
talk directly.
Testing?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Okay, well, back to announcing our person that we have, our speaker. I guess we are going to talk through one mic here tonight. So, introduction, sir.
Yes, I actually met. Do you remember her?
Yes,
This
I met
is
her
Miss
at
Melanie Smotherman. I met her at the Balling to Serve event on July 12th that Alan put on. Alan Stevenson and the Light Poetic Ministry put on up at Benson High School. I actually barely got to catch her on my way out. I saw her and her husband, but they were playing chess. But as I walked out and I was loading stuff into the car, stopped by and talked to her for a minute.
Yeah, I don't think you were there when I got there, and then I left a little bit late, and I think you were pretty much packed up and ready to go. So, but I did see you last week, 2 weeks ago, at the FOTS event. Was she at the FOTS event?
No.
So then I did meet you I did
Yeah,
meet you. Okay.
At Benson High School.
William, this microphone all of a sudden is not working.
It keeps cutting in and out.
Once you adjust it, don't touch it
I-
no more.
I don't think I did. Oh.
Which line is that? Number two?
It's unplugged. It's actually unplugged.
That should be number two, I think.
Yep, it is number 2. Yep.
This is this is not on. But,
Is yours on? Test yours. Make sure yours is on.
Not anymore.
Yep, I can hear it.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, it was working and then it just cut out.
okay, it's number two. This one's number two. This one's
Sorry for the technical difficulties. We will be back.
We're good at technical
We're still here, but-
difficulties.
or the
Yeah.
mic. If not, then
I heard it.
Yep.
Okay, testing.
Yep,
Got me? Okay.
you got it. Okay.
All right. Well, back to introductions here. Hold on a second.
Sorry about that.
One of these days, we're gonna just have a show that's gonna go bzzz and breeze right through. That's okay, because that's called Surviving Life's Tribulations. We're surviving it. That's the name of the show.
Indeed.
So,
But yeah, so that's where we met. So thank you, Mr. Alan Stevenson, for Balling to Serve. Which, by the way, Balling to Serve 2 is
doing
in
a
the
fundraiser.
works.
I saw that.
Yep. So I talked to him a bit about that. But Melanie Smotherman, and she is from Splash Magazine, a youth magazine for youth, by youth.
Oh, so the youth do. Okay, I'll let you tell then.
All right.
Okay.
And then North Omaha Chess. She's got like 85 different things that she does. I saw today on
Yeah,
Facebook. North Omaha Chess
We
Academy
work
is the
on a
other.
different time frame than most human beings, I think. I don't know. Everybody seems to be busy doing good work. We,
Just think if we all got together and actually had one big blowout event, how much better the city would be because of it.
that's true. I think that there's so much going on in the community that people aren't aware of. Really good stuff happening, and shows like this help get that word out, which
Right.
is really important. So my husband and I, try and think of things that we can contribute to the community that are skills of ours, and one of those is chess. My husband's been playing chess for 40 some odd years, and been very involved in Nebraska chess. And actually, I love to give him a plug because he won the 2013 Cornhusker State Games Chess Championship. And so he's very qualified to teach chess, and we've been teaching chess in the schools, after-school programs for 13 years, partly in Lincoln and then in Omaha. Last year we taught chess at Girls Inc., and then we decided, that was a great experience, but we wanted to broaden it and make it available for the community. And so we we founded and opened the North Omaha Chess Academy, which is at 4200 North 30th Street. On the same side of the street as the McDonald's on 30th and Ames. And just up the street, going south, right across from AutoZone, is the gray building where Black Men United is housed, and we're in that same building.
Well,
it's
this
that
old
gray
station
building.
used to be.
It's where the station used to be, right? And so on Tuesday evenings from 4:30 until 9, we have chess club for the community. Anyone who knows how to play chess can just come, knock on the door or ring the doorbell, and we'll open it, and there'll be people to play.
So if people don't know how, can you also teach?
We teach
that?
chess on Saturdays.
Okay.
What we are really promoting is our Parent and Me classes, which is trying to get parents to come with their kids and learn chess together. And so that's what we're prioritizing. We teach, really fun classes. It involves not just boring facts about chess and how to move pieces.
And that's what people assume with chess, that it's
Well,
boring, right?
And, I think people are scared away if they don't know how to play chess because it seems complicated, but once it's broken down and people, explain it and do it in a fun way, anyone can learn chess.
I've always wanted to learn, but like you said, you have that fear of it's difficult, and that's exactly what I thought too.
Well, there's something to be said for challenges that are, a little hard but not too hard, because it helps you develop yourself as, your skills. Chess, everybody I talk to who has developed a skill in chess but also in other areas say that chess actually helps them in all their other areas. So
I would assume that maybe it helps you focus.
Exactly.
it does. There's been studies done that show that chess helps kids, in school. If they are chess players, they think about their options before, making decisions. They are more patient.
Well, it teaches you to think one step ahead too, right?
Exactly. And critical thinking.
Right.
And being more discerning about whether you want to do something, because you can't take your moves back in chess. Once
Right.
you make your move.
That's just like life, though.
Exactly.
Is it once you take your hand off?
Once you touch a piece, you have to move
You
the
have to move
piece.
it. Okay.
And so, there are a lot of life analogies with chess, and we like to teach those. So our program is based on a martial arts model where people start out as white bands, we have these silicone wristbands that everyone gets when they first start classes. And then as their skill level improves and they learn what they need to learn, then they get to promote to the yellow band and then green and blue.
And kids like that. I mean, even, people like that visual, I've earned something.
Right. Yes. And we make a big deal of that because it's, it doesn't matter what level you're at. If you are wanting to get better, if you're wanting to learn something and you're concentrating on it and giving it some effort, I think that should be rewarded. And we make a big deal of that. We have a promotion party for students who are promoting to the next band level. They get a certificate with a gold seal on it that, they can keep, and they get their wristbands to show off. So, it's a significant thing for people
Right. I
to
work with
have.
mentally challenged adults, and they like that
That recognition.
Instant gratification. Exactly. People survive. That keeps them motivated, like you said, to keep going. Probably helps with their homework too.
It does, and
So-
test taking. I mean, studies have been done to prove that kids who learn chess are improved in many different areas. In school, they're better test takers. Not that tests are my, the thing that I like to promote, but it's a reality in schools, and kids do better at chess when they are at tests and at listening to lessons and all aspects of school when they are also chess players. So we like to show videos as sometimes, as part of the lessons that are little short clips of interesting things relating to chess. We teach history. It's kind of like an all-encompassing experience. It's not just, here's a game, sit down, here are how the pieces move, and now we're done. We want to make it an enriching experience that kids and parents can take away with them and have something beyond just coming to learn how to play chess.
So what's the youngest? What's the youngest you start at?
Well, the youngest we've ever taught was 5, even though, if it all depends on temperament of kids, whether they want to sit still for long enough to learn something like this. But generally, we have 8 on up in our classes. Now, we leave it up to parents, because in the Parent and Me class, parents know their kids better than anyone. And if parents feel as though their children have the capability of sitting and listening to a lesson and, learning the game of chess, we'll give it a shot, That's another nice thing about having a Parent and Me class, is that the parents can actually be there with their children, which make the kids feel more comfortable. The parents can learn too. Oftentimes the kids learn faster than their parents, and so they can pull them along, and they have that to take back home with them to play together. And it's a great experience and bonding opportunity all the way around.
So how long do the classes, or how long does it last on Saturdays?
For the beginners, it goes from 10 to 11. So beginning Parent and Me classes, it's 10 to 11 in the morning. All anyone has to do is go on our website, which is NOCA.club, and can learn about the program.
Okay.
And contact us via info@NOCA.club. And if you want to find out when the next class sessions are starting, we keep prices very low.
I was going to say, is it a non?
The tuition.
Okay.
We would like to make it a non, have it be no tuition at some point, or at least scholarships for students and for parents, for families, whenever needed. We're not at that place yet, but we charge a nominal amount for a Parent and Me for 4 weeks of classes. It's $15 for the pair, for
Okay,
both
well-
of them. And so, it pays for the cookies and the juice packs and the
Right.
water. I mean,
Right.
basically, we're not recouping, like office rent or anything like that. We're just trying to keep the program self-sustaining, right? And so we think that it's nice to make it an inviting environment for families. If they're going to take time out of their Saturdays and come and do some activity, we want it to be nice. And the kids look forward to the hot chocolate or the cookies, and
Yeah, they
whatever
were
gets
loving
them
the
in
cookies
there
when I was there.
So you actually went to this, sir?
Yeah, after the FOTS event, I went and that's why I had to leave the FOTS
Oh,
event,
okay.
because I had to go and check out the chess academy as well. So I was telling her earlier, I put like 100 miles on my car that day. We were
You were everywhere. I
we
know.
were.
When
We were.
Danelle came in, we had, I think, both sisters. We had sisters there. Their mom drops them off, but they were our students at Girls Inc., so they followed us to the Kumani Center to keep learning chess. And so I was giving them a lesson while my husband, who's known as Coach Kent, was working with one of our higher band level students, Josiah, who actually, he's only 11. No, he just turned 12. He'll kill me if I say he's 11. Anyway, and he just competed at the Cornhusker State Games. Actually, it was the State Games of America this
Right.
year. And he won this huge silver medal. It was only his 3rd tournament ever. And he's won both of his other tournaments. So he's doing very well. And we'd like to not only, again, teach chess and teach, history and give different experiences around chess, using chess as the vehicle, but we also want to help the community know about chess opportunities locally and around the state and even outside of the state. Because since we started the North Omaha Chess Academy and Club, we've been astounded at the chess talent in the community. But people learn how to play chess at a young age, or they teach each other, and they don't know about that there are tournaments that they can compete in.
Well, they learn online now too. I know. My son learned
yeah.
how to play chess. I think he was like 4 or 5.
Right.
When he used to play with my dad all the time.
I used to
And
play back in the day, but I forgot how.
Yeah, he still got the chess set from when he was little. And I said, I wish I knew how so I could play, but
Right.
I have no clue. So
Well, then you need to come and
I
take
know
classes.
I do. Because I would
Yes.
like to sit down with him.
Right.
Because we have our mom, and even though he's almost 25, we have our mom and sometimes. I don't
Sure.
even. But
What?
yeah,
Well,
so.
you're on camera.
I know, that's
You might as well
different.
be
I
on
know.
camera. This is Periscope.
Okay, so
that's-
that's on Saturdays.
Right. And so Saturday mornings, people have to sign up. They have to register to be involved in the chess classes so that we know who's coming and we can have information prepared for them. They get
Right.
packets, they get their bracelets. But then Tuesdays, I want the whole community to know that there's an open chess club on Tuesdays. People can come and play all levels of player. You have to know how to play to come on club night because there isn't instruction per se on club night. But as long as you know how to make the legal moves and you want to sit down and practice and play against other players, no matter how good you are, you'll have a good game. So
Now, have you had an open house? Or how long have you been there?
since August of last year, so
Really?
we've been around for a while. We haven't really promoted it heavily. Part of the reason is because we're involved in so many different other
Right.
projects that we wanted to make sure that we, understood what the program was going to be like, and we want to have it offered. So we've been very consistent about making sure that there's chess club and that there are classes available. But we haven't really sent out flyers to all the schools in the area or anything yet, to talk with them about how to get, the word out to get more and more students. And, that'll come. But at least we're confident that, we're there for the community if the
Right.
community wants to participate in chess.
Okay, so you got your. Okay, let's hit on all the other things you do too. Okay.
Well, the other most exciting project that we have going on is we are bringing back a magazine that this one used to be published. I'll hold it up to the camera. This one used to be published in Des Moines, Iowa, almost 20 years ago. This was 1997 when
Wow.
we first started publishing this magazine. And
So you guys did it 20 years ago?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I was, a graphic designer for a couple of major companies in Des Moines, and I decided, I really would love to use my journalism training from when I used to be a journalism major at UNO, and I want to do something for children. And so my then 9-year-old son, he's 28 now, but we decided we would co-found a magazine not only for kids, but by kids in the community. And that's the most exciting project I think I've ever worked on. It promoted literacy. It got children wanting to come in and learn journalism skills, how to become a reporter, how to put a magazine together. And these are skills that are typically only reserved for adults or students going to colleges. And so we thought, they might not learn the full breadth of what college classes throughout a bachelor's degree would teach them, but that doesn't mean that they can't do many of the activities that people do if they get the basic fundamental framework for what they need to do to prepare for an interview, to go out and do an interview, and then to bring a story together, to write a story from their perspective based on what the goals were for that story. And then the way that we structured the magazine was we didn't want to just throw kids out there on their own, so we would bring children in and along with an adult mentor. So a child would have an adult to not only work with them on what kind of questions do we want to ask at this interview, what do we want to get out of this to give to readers, but then they would take them to the interview, be with them throughout the whole process, and then write the story together. and talk about what they want out of the story. And that made all the difference. It was enriching for the kids, it was enriching for the adults who mentor the kids for the story, and no one would ever have a commitment beyond one story, so it was easy. It's just something to do with a child.
Well, that's nice to know, because my wife was asking about it. She goes, well, is it like a recurring thing, or is it just like a one-time thing? I'm like, well, we didn't really get into detail.
For the magazine, okay, so we're bringing it back. I mean, this was a monthly. We printed 20,000 copies a month when we were doing it 20 years ago. We want to at least do that many. We want to gear up to that many. But right now what we're doing to bring it back alive and bring it to Omaha, we want to create our pilot issue. And so we're underway doing that right now so that we can get a pilot issue printed and show all of the people who could lend support and partnership in making this a reality for Omaha kids as well. So we have a printer who has already agreed to print our pilot issue, 100 copies of it for free, a full color,
Nice.
slick, like Slick magazine, not this old newsprint kind
Right.
of, this is what we had to go with a limited budget, back then. I really think that children deserve to have a really nice product that they can feel proud of, that has their photograph and their bios in with their stories that they can keep forever and be proud that they actually did something that's significant.
I mean, I know I would be excited if when I was a kid, I had the opportunity to do something like that.
Well, that's how my son started. I mean, when he was little, he started, he used to read like crazy. And he's a professional filmmaker now. He's a screenwriter.
Wonderful.
And he started out writing and then illustrated his own little, stories and poems. And then he went to high school for creative writing. And there's not much you can do with creative writing, really, except, so he decided to go and he loves movies, so he put a 1 + 1, he put together, and he went to film school.
There you go.
So, yeah.
I mean, writing, having that fundamental experience with writing and making it be relevant. I know a lot of kids say and believe that they don't like writing, but that's because they don't see where their writing can take them or what the end product is that they can be proud of. Writing essays in school is one thing, or being told that you have to write sentences and have perfect grammar and all of that. That's one thing, but being able to pursue a story that you're interested in as a child, and go and interview a meteorologist who's on a news station, or go and interview a doctor about what happens when you swallow your bubble gum, or go interview an actor or something, something that is of interest, and then be in charge of the questions that you're asking that professional, and then taking that as your own, your own information and making it into a story that is going to be distributed to all your friends and
So
family.
taking facts and make it
community.
into reality, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that, value has not been lost on teachers, librarians. We were, at the time when we first published this, we were asked to come into classrooms of schools and give short presentations about what writing opportunities there are. And so we would talk to grade school kids about, how we're here. If you want to write a story for Splash Magazine, you can be a published reporter or published journalist. And one particular classroom that we visited, a little girl raised her hand and asked if she could take photographs for the magazine story instead of write a story. And we had never thought of having a young person be the photographer for the stories. We'd always taken care of that. But I would never say no. I want kids to be a part of every aspect of this magazine because it's by them, not just for them. So we said, of course you can. Got her contact information through the teacher to contact her and set it up. And I contacted a photographer who was with the Des Moines Register, who had done a story about us and was really good with my 9-year-old son, and so I knew she was good with kids. And I asked her, would you mentor a young person in photography for a story for Splash? And she immediately said yes. We had no adults ever say no to this question. Would you mentor a child for a story for Splash Magazine, we asked celebrities, like radio celebrities in Des Moines. We asked TV celebrities, people who were, known
Right.
by the community, and they always said yes about mentoring for a story.
That would be so cool to do.
So, yeah, and so not only did we have kids going out and doing these things, we had them bonding with a significant person from the community, another adult who they could remain friends with. I mean, there are so many aspects to the building of self-esteem and skills building, that goes into a project like this. So.
One.
Yeah, and that's something that's lax nowadays, and we talk about things like this all the time. That we're always promoting, trying to enriching the youth in our community, and that's kind of what I think our show is based on a lot. Is we bring on a lot of stuff about trying to help the youth. I've been involved with the youth in North Omaha for over 20 years, so that's just something. My youngest one will be 25, and that's just something I still do is kids. I mean, I work at the Y on weekends. I just like kids.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I think is most important is not just to have programs for kids, for instance, in North Omaha, but to be there. So we base all of these out of North Omaha because these are programs. It's for the whole city, but we want to be where
What's up, Ray?
kids are who don't normally have these opportunities, and I think that we need to build more opportunities for the community.
Well,
Right.
North Omaha, you have to make it easy access for the kids to get to.
Sure.
They don't have the luxury of, like a lot of kids out west or whatever, getting rides to places. They have to pretty much have a way to walk to it or
Right.
take a bus. So it's very, that you're here for these kids. So we definitely going to get the word out about this because I know I used to run the Bryant Center, and I know they had a chess club down there. Kids would be, during the summertime we had this program, and kids would come in there and play chess. I did the basketball part, but they also had they also have a chess club, I think, through the Bryant Center. So, and like I said, people don't know about these things.
Right. I think the more that, we can use our skills and our interests to find ways to share that with the community, the more enriching everyone will be. And, so that's what my husband and I basically just think of, what are we good at? What have we got experience in? And how can we translate that into offering opportunities that might not otherwise exist? And we know that we can do them really well because we, I think, have the right perspective that, we offer the opportunities and, however people come, whatever part they want to play in making it their own is fine.
So have you kept in contact with some of the kids that used to write stories?
Actually, yes. One of the kids in this particular magazine, I don't know if people who are watching this, if they can see this little boy here, but he was 7 years old. He was 7 in the second grade, and that's kind of a unique person, a unique young person to want to write for the magazine. But he was actually very mature for his young 7 years, and he was a poet. And so the first thing he asked is, can I submit poetry to the magazine? And I immediately said, absolutely. We want artwork, we want poetry, we want book reviews, we want people to get together and go do stories. This magazine is for and by kids, so there are all sorts of ways to express yourself. So we published his poetry, and then he said that he wanted to do a story for Splash, and he was so excited about the Renaissance Fair that was coming, and so I ended up mentoring him for that story, took him out to the Renaissance Fair, and he interviewed people who were in costumes, and since he was in a wheelchair, he was very disabled, he couldn't walk, he did the questions, and I wrote down their answers, so I kept notes for him. And then we came back together, and I asked him to dictate what he remembered of his interviews with people. And I, of course, had quotes and the story written down as I heard it, but I wanted him to dictate the story. And so I wrote as he said how he wanted the story to start, how, important things about the experience that he wanted to make sure was in the story. And so I just, I facilitated that, and it turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I just recently got back in touch with this young man. He was 7 when he did this story. He's now in his 20s, and he works for a nonprofit for disability rights. And it was so cool to get back in touch with him and find him. You know, it was hard to do the search, but I didn't give up. I wanted to find this one young person. And he said that he remembers his experience fondly, and he would love to write about what that was like for him. And so we're in the process of doing that also for the pilot issue.
Nice.
It's always nice to see how how kids turn out.
Yes.
You know, that the kids I used to coach. I mean, to see now they're coaching now, or they're coaching in high schools or whatever. It's always nice to know that maybe you might have a little bit of part of, lit a light underneath them. And like you said, I work with mentally challenged adults. Mm-hmm. So to give them something to look forward to, they don't get that very often. Being involved with Special Olympics and different things, just to see the excitement in their faces when they accomplish something, I think needs to be seen and learned by everybody in society, because the littlest thing means the most to these guys.
It does. And I remember influences from my own childhood, and people who would inspire me or give me an opportunity to do something different than that I had not had an opportunity to do, and it meant something. And as an adult, I look back on those experiences and realize how important they were, to me.
Kids are always like, God, why do I have to do that? And having little ones, you probably know, but I remember my son going, oh man, Mom, but now he's looking back like, wow, if I wouldn't, I tried never to push him, but I always let the door, and being a coach, everybody just assumed that he was going to play sports. Automatically assumed it. But he was always the book person.
Right.
Book smart, street smart, that was my kids.
You can never predict.
So, you just got to let them kind of spread their own wings.
Well, I'm trying to get Danelle's daughter to agree to bring her dad to play chess.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
So we've got a couple of weekends here where we'll be busy.
You actually have a weekend open?
No. A couple of weekends that will be busy.
Oh,
like
okay.
This week at work, we're volunteering for this 5K for the Habitat. We're not running or walking. We're volunteering.
He don't walk, he tells me.
We're volunteering.
I'm going to get him to walk, though, here in a couple weeks.
I will do it. It'll be no problem.
Okay.
We're volunteering, and since Mitzi will be at work, I'll have the girls with me for a few hours. Hopefully it's not too boring for them. I don't know. Maybe I'll get them. Maybe I'll bring the tablet or something. Since we'll be by work, I should be able to get the Wi-Fi connected. Hopefully, we'll see. But so we're doing that this weekend, the 29th, and then her birthday, Jamila's birthday, is on the 7th. So we'll be busy on the 5th with artistry and her birthday party. I don't know. Sometime after then.
I look forward to the Small Business Expo.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually going to be there this time.
So will North Omaha Chess Academy and Splash
I
Magazine.
haven't made it yet 'cause I work at the Y on Saturdays, and I usually work Sundays, but right now we're at the hiatus where we don't have Sundays. So,
are you guys going to need 4 chairs for the NOCA table?
Yes.
Is that enough?
Yeah, what we do is we set up a chessboard. So anyone who wants to come by and play Coach Kent in chess, they can come by. So actually, it would be nice to have like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 6 chairs, and not all at the NOCA table. 5 at the NOCA table and maybe 2 at the Splash table, because we have Kent challenge anyone who wants to play chess. Try their hand at beating him. And last time when we were at Bowling to Serve, Alan Stevenson's event, we offered a chess set to anyone who played Coach Kent. You didn't have to beat him, but anyone who played Coach Kent would sit down and either play him or come to me to learn the basics of chess in 5. I think it was a 10-minute lesson. Just the overview.
Yeah.
Would get a bracelet, a chess bracelet, just everybody, and then they would be entered to win a chess set. So somebody won a chess set. It was actually one of the security guards who was at the event who sat down and learned how to play the basics. So took a lesson.
How about if somebody wants to? I mean, this just dawned on me about somebody wants to sponsor a child.
Yes.
I mean, how do they go about? Well, I mean, we're going to put your information online and there, on our Facebook page and stuff. But if somebody wants to, can they sponsor?
Absolutely. We are looking for sponsors for North Omaha Chess Academy for classes, so that parents and kids. I don't want cost to be a detriment to anyone, and we keep it really low, but still $15 for some people who might be interested in chess is a little high, and I think it promotes chess when our community who can afford to sponsor good and important events supports this activity.
Well, they can, that way, because I know they could maybe meet the child.
Yes, sure.
Or later on, because I remember a Jesuit they used to like sponsor, because they didn't have time to donate their time.
Right.
But they would, sponsor with the money, but then they would meet the child and have come in maybe just sit down and watch them, and that way they could actually meet them.
Well, any sponsors that we are able to get to help support chess in the community and, the education for parents and kids would be invited to one of our promotion events where the kids who go through and the parents who go through
Right.
the program get their certificates, and then they could do that. They could meet them, or maybe we could have them write a letter to the sponsor telling
So
them
if you
what
don't
they've
have
learned,
time,
or-
this is another way for you to give back.
Absolutely.
So we will put all that information on our Facebook page, though.
It's already there.
It's already
I've
there.
announced it.
Why would I even have
announced
to
her?
question that?
Well, I announced her
Okay.
yesterday as a guest. So
And we do have
NOCA.
Facebook pages, and so
Yeah, both of
I
those are
appreciate
tagged
the
on
links
the.
Okay.
to those.
Yes.
Because that's a really quick way to actually interact with us,
Right.
is on Facebook.
So easy. Oh,
So when are you? When's the splash? Do you have a deadline on?
Well,
or how do kids go about getting? They want to be a part of that.
Okay, well, the best way to be a part of it is there are a couple ways. They could stop by the Kumani Center. We're always there on Tuesday nights for chess. So, that's
And that time was from what time to what time again?
4:30 until 9 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
And so we're always there, and since we're one and the same, the office is shared between the two activities. Anyone can come between those hours and learn more about Splash Magazine. They can get on the Facebook page and say, hey, because I keep putting announcements out there on the Splash Facebook page saying we need writers, we need mentors, we need artists, poets, anyone who wants to contribute. The actual contributors for the content are youth below the age of 19, but we need adults to help out. So we're going to, just to finish that question, so that's another way. And then we have a website that's coming. It has not been completed yet because it's going to be very complex. We are going to not only offer information about Splash on there, but the actual issues will be also online.
Oh, okay.
And we want to develop, out of this will be an outcropping that creates Splash Teen magazine, which will be for the older kids to, talk about edgier stuff, do more complicated stories, and that will be exclusively online. So we'll have both magazines available. But that's.
Do you think, as this is kind of off the wall question, but do you think with the online, everything's online nowadays, that a lot of the stuff, because I know I don't read a newspaper anymore because it's all online.
what's that?
Yeah.
What's the newspaper?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
what
saying.
is that exactly?
That's my point. Do you
So-
think, so how, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
No.
how do you go about saying that this is going to be in print when kids don't read stuff in print?
Because-
I mean, we don't even really. Everything's done online.
So what we do, and what this is a really important question because I was adamant that this would not only be online for kids. It would be offered online for those who want to look at it online and to be able to share it with more people.
Yeah.
But I think it's extremely important for children to have tangible evidence of what they did and what their friends did, and what is happening in the community right in their hands, where so many kids don't have access to internet, they don't have access to computers, and that should not be a barrier to being able to be a part of something that is significant for literacy, for for just having to show, what you've been a part
So
of.
basically, you're reinventing or bringing back, and I totally agree with this because, kids like to see things.
Right.
Hey, look what I did! Like when they
Right,
do a
they
school
can take
paper,
it to school.
right?
They can
And they write it. They do something in school. They love to run home and show it.
Sure.
You
and
know,
you can't, and
right.
the internet is too controlled for children.
But that's a lost. So
Right.
basically, you're re-bringing that back, which is good, and hopefully everybody will jump on and agree with us on that because kids need that. Like I
Absolutely.
said, that's another instant gratification. They can always go show, bring
So-
it out. I mean, 20 years. I mean, I have my class reunion coming up this weekend, and everybody's bringing out stuff that we had way back when, and it might be old yellow and whatever, but they still so proud of that stuff.
Right. And, it's cheaper to put it online. Printing it is going to be a cost that we're going to have to try and gain sponsorships for. But there is, to me, nothing more relevant than having something that, a publication that children were a part of every aspect of.
Right.
And when kids are lying in bed at night, getting ready to go to sleep, and they have a Splash magazine by their bed, and they can just look at it and look through it and read, kids will be more interested in reading if it's a friend or someone they know who's written the story, or if it's about a topic that is of interest to them. And I think, we don't have that saturation anymore of opportunities to read for kids other than textbooks and, or just quick little short online, comments, which, in text speak, we don't have actual, full stories. And
My son was giving me a bad time. He bought me a couple books. Have I opened them? No. And and it's things that I'm really interested in, by Coach Patino and all about basketball and different things. He's like, have you even opened those books to read? And I have to say no, because if I want something, I can just look online.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
we
have
all
to admit
fall
that's
into
something
that.
that I need to get back. Take a half hour of my time at night.
At my house, I was telling Melanie, I said, Jamila, she is like a reader. So is my wife. So they actually have hard copies. They go to the library all the time. So I think that there's probably a decent amount of people out there who still do that, and they like that physical, like you said, tangible.
And if kids don't know, they will know, because once they pick it up, we got so many letters from children, parents, teachers, everyone, but kids would write in and talk about how this is the best magazine they've ever seen, and because it was relevant to them, it was local.
They can relate to the language
Right.
because it's done by kids.
There were stories about local events and things that families and kids could do together. I wanted to just say also that we have built into Splash Magazine, besides our regular sections, which are Pet of the Month and Ask a Doctor, things like this about things that are of interest, but we have a book review section. So we solicit book reviews from kids, which also encourages in another way
read.
kids to read, and then to write a short review of whether they liked the book, didn't like the book, what about the book were they wanting to share with others. And every single book review that is submitted, not even, we can only print so many, but we would print all of them online. I mean, they would all be on the web version.
Right.
But every single submission gets put into a drawing for a significant prize every month. And that prize, that gift, is a sponsored gift by, for instance, it would be the zoo, or it would be the museum, or it would be any place that kids would enjoy going with their families. And our requirement of the sponsors was that they couldn't just give one pass for the kid, but it had to be for the entire family, the child's family, so that they could be proud of going to an event, going to an activity.
Yeah.
They
local
earned
activity,
it for the family.
for the whole family, right? And a lot of times, if it's just for the child, then that's great. If the family can't pay to go, then
Yeah.
the
They
child
can't
can't
go.
go either.
Yeah,
And
I'll
so-
drop you off. I'll meet you here in 5 hours.
Right.
So it's
Got a
very
babysitting
thoughtfully.
service.
It's very thoughtfully done. We think about all aspects of how to make sure that children feel empowered, that they're the ones who are doing this, that they get something out of it, and that it's something
Okay, so when is
worthwhile.
your big release date?
Well, we don't actually have a big release date yet. The pilot issue is is in the works. The very first story was done by Alicia Dumas's daughter, and she was the.
We had her on our show too.
See, we're all
See, small
connected. We're,
sport-
we're all connected.
Right, and her daughter Lashea did a fantastic job reporting, preparing for the interview and going to Spielbound, which is a new game cafe.
Oh, yeah, I've heard
in
about that
Omaha.
place.
I mean, it's not new, but it's relatively new, and a lot of people still don't know about it, and so. She did that, and then we had a young man as the assigned photographer for it, and my husband, who is a photographer, mentored him in how to use an actual SLR camera. Then they did the photographs, and a whole bunch of them. Then they got back together and they looked at all of the pictures and decided which ones would be appropriate for the story. And then they did post-processing, and then they threw it over, to the rest of us, and we end up editing the story, and so that one's ready to go. We have several other stories in the works, so I'm looking at hopefully by the end of this year. It was supposed to be before this, but a lot has to come together to make sure that it's all done.
So is there anything that we can put out there that people could help you with to help speed this along?
Yes. Initially we don't really need the funding for the pilot issue because we have a printer.
Right.
But if we are to take this on, we need sponsors. It's going to be done tastefully. So, we don't want McDonald's ads, necessarily, but it can be sponsored by, but it's going to be very carefully controlled.
I think that Small Guy Promotions might be able to spare a couple of bucks to sponsor.
So they're putting ads in there, or they're sponsoring a story?
It'll be both. If they sponsor a story, then they will have
questions,
they will have, we are absolutely happy to put this story was sponsored by, or this section was sponsored by.
Oh,
that's what
Yeah.
our plan is. We don't want to really call it advertising, and we don't want to just take advertising, because it's supposed to be educational. We don't want it to become something that is just ad driven.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to be literacy driven, and we
Right.
want it to be something that is
for
tasteful.
For companies, though, they need to use as a so-called tax write-off. They would use it as an advertising, thing to you know what I'm saying?
Sure. So we would absolutely give credit to any company or
So
individual.
basically, they go to, or I don't mean to rush, but we're running a little late. So they go to Splash Magazine.
The Splash Magazine, which is on Facebook page. Go to
Surviving-
Danelle's.
Okay. Small Guy
Surviving
Promotions.
Life's,
you
Surviving
can-
Life's Tribulations.
Yeah.
Right, because he has the links to the Facebook pages, and that's the best way to get in touch with us.
Okay.
And, yeah.
And
So-
then they'll also be at the Small Business Expo on September 27th at the Salvation Army Kroc Center from 2 to 5 p.m.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Okay, the only thing I want to talk about is number one. We're going to have a gentleman on next week from Psalms. He just stopped by. It's kind of weird because I was just going to call him tonight, but suicide awareness. My son committed suicide, so the walk is coming up September 13th. So we're still going to be. I talked to William. We're going to be using his banner and kind of promoting our show. And so anybody who would like to be a part of the walk, that's September 13th. But get a hold of us. We're going to put something on our Facebook page. Would like to have a group out there. Something that needs to be talked about, and it's really hit me hard lately about my son. So I need to do this, and it's a 5K, so I'm still trying to get him out here to walk. So we need to get the word out and get a group out there to promote our station. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we'll be here. The week after, no, because it's a holiday. So
Labor Day, September 7th.
and hopefully we can get our technical difficulties worked out. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll get it.
So, again, we'll be back next week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you are a business and you would like to sponsor our show, it's very inexpensive. We're pretty negotiable.
We can usually talk us into about anything. So.
Yes, and you can come on the show and talk about your business. We can put your banner up, or we can do a little commercial spot for you as well throughout the show. So you're not going to find any cheaper
Nowhere.
advertising than on the show
Trust
right
me,
now.
Trust
So
us. So
call us, Facebook us, Donna Smith, Small Guy Promotions, Surviving Life's Tribulations, all of it. Like Melanie said, that's where we can be easily reached is on
Right.
Facebook,
right.
Twitter, whatever, But that's about it.
Okay.
All right. See
Everybody
you guys
have
next
a good
week.
week. See you next week.
You.